Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. 80% of Japanese banks are set to embrace XRP for global payments by 2025. And this comes from NASDAQ. So they're saying sometime this year, we're going to see Japan integrate Ripple's XRP into their systems, dramatically improving cross-border payments and remittances. This move is expected to significantly lower transaction times and cost. According to the Crypto Times, Japan's financial sector is increasingly confident in XRP's ability to enhance international money transfers and drive the adoption of blockchain technology into finance. And this is happening through SBI. So once this happens, a lot of people are saying the price of XRP can quickly go to $13 plus. Let's see if that happens. And I want to know the time frame. They don't give us an exact date on when this would happen, but it's supposed to happen sometime this year. Now, remember back in November of 2017, Brad Garlinghouse was talking about demand and supply. Take a listen.
What would be your forecast on XRP versus dollar value by the end of 2018?
Well, so one of the things I always say when I'm asked this kind of question is I really don't think that much about the price of XRP in the short term. You know, I make I don't think about 3 days, 3 months. You know, I think more about it in the 3 to 5 year. If we drive a lot of utility and a lot of usefulness of XRP in terms of solving that payments flow. And again, if we go back to the question about Walmart and Amazon, if you're solving a corporate treasury problem measured in the trillions of dollars, I think there's a very large market opportunity for XRP to solve that problem. You know, how the market behaves even over the course of 2018, I think is hard to predict. I will say that I think the institutional money is just starting to come into digital assets. And that's true for Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP. But I think as that money comes into this, what I mean by institutional money, I mean pension funds and, you know, fiduciary managed money. I think that will create a lot of demand for digital assets. And if you have fixed supply, as you do with XRP, and you have increasing demand, you know, you don't have to be an econ major to know what happens when you have increasing demand.
That sounds a lot like another clip that Brad spoke in, but this was back in 2017, and he said 5 years he expected a lot of things to happen. Now, we know in 2020, the Rippleverse SEC case started. That's why a lot of people think that if the case would have never happened, XRP would already be somewhere between $8 and $13. And I would agree with that. And finally, now here we are in 2025, and the institutions are starting to onboard to crypto. So what he was expecting to happen long before 2020 and even into 2022 is now happening in 2025. But I'm telling you, we are going to see scarcity for XRP at some point. And I talked a little bit about custody in that previous video. And this comes from Smoke. Context for the custody conversation right now. Custodians are critical to maintaining the growth and adoption of digital assets. If all of these institutions are buying these digital assets, they're going to need a place to store those assets. Even if the bank is getting involved with crypto, they might outsource their custody solution to someone like Ripple. This is why that Medico acquisition that happened back in 2023 was so important. It led us up to this point right now where the institutions are finally starting to show up. The DTCC collateral app chain wants to rewrite the rules of TradFi settlement. So the DTCC is most likely going to utilize something like Ripple's solution here as well. We know Ripple and the DTCC have been working together for a while now. But everybody wants to see this big disruption happen with the traditional banking system. But I think what's going on is some parts of the traditional banking system, they're starting to upgrade now. And they're starting to tie in with blockchain now. So everybody thought there was going to be the switch from traditional finance into the digital financial system, and a great reset was going to happen. But I'm thinking that we're just going to watch this shift happen in real time. In other words, it's already taking place because all these upgrades are bringing a lot of the traditional system already over to the digital world. I hope that made sense. XRP is the key ingredient for US crypto supremacy over China. Now, the first thing that they talk about is Ripple's escrow. And that's not going to end up in the hands of the US government. The US government might get some of that escrow, but they're not going to get all of it. Ripple even said they're going to hold on to at least 25% of that escrow going into the future because they want to use it for more acquisitions. They want to use it strategically to bring more utility to XRP as well. I do think XRP can fix the US dollar. It could definitely strengthen the US dollar because of what XRP is capable of with cross-border payments and on-demand liquidity. But I think the IMF's going to get some of that escrow, and the rest of these central banks are also going to get some of that escrow as well. But I even think China is going to be utilizing RippleNet and XRP as well. NASDAQ tells SEC precise crypto labeling will be everything in future regulation. The reason NASDAQ wants this to happen is, like I told you in previous videos, they have to label cryptocurrencies for what they are, for institutional investors to want to get involved with crypto. In other words, if this is a utility token or a network token, it needs to be listed as that. If it's a speculative token, they want to see a listing for that as well. They want it to be labeled before they decide to get into this space. And I think that's going to happen over time. We're already seeing XRP being called a utility token by the IMF, the World Bank, the BIS. And then here you also see XRP sometimes being called a network token as well, because it has embedded utility. New on Medium, how to get your family to take your digital assets seriously. I thought this was a great article. You know, I get frustrated with talking to family about crypto. You know, for years, I've been telling them, you need to get invested into this. This is going to be huge. You need to get invested in this. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But I think there's a lot of problems with family members getting invested into crypto. I got more of my friends into crypto than I got family members into crypto because they're stuck in their ways, you know, like the old ways, like where they see if you can't touch it, it's not real. If you can't spend it from a wallet, it's not real. In other words, if you can't reach in your pocket, pull out your wallet and pay with crypto, then it's not real to them. The good thing is we're starting to see a lot of integration with the banking system. The banks will make crypto real to the average person outside of crypto. Some people will wake up to it. They'll come around to it. They'll start to see the value in it. Others, it's going to take a lot more. Some people would have to be forced into crypto is what I'm saying. Because I know a lot of people that I've done work for, clients of mine, and I talk to them about crypto and they're like right away, and these are multimillionaires. Right away they say, oh, I would never get involved with crypto. I would, if anything, I invest in the stock market. You know, they want to see it being accredited, and they want to have a financial advisor talk them into getting into crypto first. When you talk to them about crypto, they're like, what do you know? You know, you're not on my level. You're not a multimillionaire. So you must not know anything about investing. Here's what's going to happen. We're XRP investors. A lot of us are going to make a hell of a lot of money in the coming months. It's going to become real to a lot of your family members, a lot of your friends that never got invested. Sure, they're going to say, yo, you just got lucky in that crypto thing. That not everybody gets lucky like you did. But we're not even gambling anymore. We're investing in something that has a real world use case. It's going to be utilized in the real world to move value from point A to point B. At one point in my life, I would have told you that crypto is like gambling. I don't see it like gambling anymore, but it's also not a get-rich-quick scheme. And a lot of people don't have the stomach for this space. They're too emotional, too impatient. They want to put money in today and be rich tomorrow. And it doesn't work that way. You're starting to figure that out if you're new to crypto. But family members, I'm just done talking to them about crypto at this point. I'd rather come make videos, talk to all of you about crypto because you understand it. You've been in this space long enough to realize where this is going. You know what you're holding if you hold XRP. But I do believe the banks are going to play a very big role in mass adoption of crypto. Nike sued over closure of crypto business. And I want to point something out here. So first I'm going to tell you what happened. Nike was sued on Friday by purchaser of Nike-themed non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and other cryptocurrency assets, who said they suffered significant losses when the athletic wear company abruptly closed the business that created those assets. In a proposed class action filed in Brooklyn, New York, federal court, purchasers led by Australian resident Jagdeep Chima said the sudden closure in December of Nike's RTFKT unit caused demand for their NFTs to dry up. They said they would never have bought the NFTs at the prices they did, or at all, had they known the tokens were unregistered securities, and that Nike would cause the rug to be pulled out from under them. So when they said unregistered securities, that goes in line with what Gary Gensler said. He said NFTs and tokenized assets, some of them are unregistered securities. So is this on Nike for closing up that part of their chain? Or is it just that fact that they were banking on Nike making a profit off of this and they were going to profit off of this as well? I want to see where this goes from here. Because if they deem NFTs unregistered securities, I think that's going to be a problem going forward for a lot of NFT creators. How to set up and use AI-powered crypto trading bots. Here we go with the articles about the trading bots. This is going to gain a lot of momentum over the next couple of months. There's going to be so much talk about trading bots and AI agents. But what they say right here, it tells you that we are not at that point yet. While powerful, they're not set it and forget it tools. You'll need to monitor performance and tweak strategies over time. So they still require some human interaction. Now, I seen an article like maybe 2 weeks ago where they said it's going to be fully automated. All you got to do is get the AI agent to do your trades for you. You set it and forget it. But not all of these AI investing agents are the same. And I think it's going to come down to how much money you want to spend on an AI agent. The jobs that will fall first as AI takes over the workplace. This comes from Forbes. So they're saying it's going to affect scheduling, data entry, and customer service. They're going to be the first jobs to go. But then they go on to talk about how surgeons can even face layoffs. But anybody that's involved with human action like counseling and so on, that's not going to be replaced anytime soon. I also seen where it's going to take over paralegal jobs, and it's going to handle legal secretary work as well. But this is what I'm telling you. When Forbes is writing articles about this, you know this is coming. And they cite 2030. How come every article on AI cites 2030? Because that was always the time frame. But I think it's going to happen even sooner. I think this is going to really play a factor by 2027. I think the next year, 2 years are going to be very accelerating for AI and blockchain. We are going to watch the whole transformation happen from the inside as crypto investors. But you know, everything that's happening, it's going to lead us to becoming financially free and wealthy off of our crypto, because we're holding the robot money. We're also holding something that is tied to 2 industrial revolutions. All you got to do is sit back and wait for it to happen. And until it does happen, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.